Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our very first sidebar session. We're gonna wait a couple seconds, give some people a chance to join. I'm gonna text my grandmother and let her know that we're on.
Please do that. She has informed me she needs to know.
Hey, dignitaries, and we'll go from there. All right, and do a little bit of sharing here in the background. Mom, how was your day?
It was good. It was good. A little slow. Didn't have as much work as I usually do, but I was productive, as I'm gonna be,
Right,
as I choose. Yeah.
as
How was
productive.
your?
About the same, as productive as I'm gonna be. I'm sleepy. Can't hardly hold my eyes open, but I am glad to be here.
Yeah, I am too. I'm a little sleepy myself.
Okay.
If I could just not toss and turn all night, I'd be all right.
Yeah, I
But it's
haven't.
just the. Oh, I was gonna say it's just the pause. Any women out there can identify with the pause? Do y'all know what I'm talking about?
You're having personal vacations in the tropics.
Personal summers.
Yeah. Yeah,
This too shall pass. This too shall pass. Or for you younger people, live on.
it's coming.
You know what I'm getting ready to say, right? The big one is coming.
The big one is coming. The big one is coming.
The big one is coming.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. The joys of womanhood.
Yes. Wouldn't have it any other way.
So I think we've got a few people who have joined. If you've just hopped onto the broadcast, my husband is throwing things across the office. Um,
Okay.
if you've just joined the broadcast, I want to formally welcome you to the very first, the pilot edition of Sidebar Sessions with my beautiful mother, Cassandra McCarty, and myself, Chaffron Quarter. We wanted to come on and talk about just some of the current issues today. Me and Mama, we get on the phone, and I'm thankful that, yeah, I can tell her the goings on in my life, but we can also have these sidebars about so many different meaty topics. And we decided that we wanted to come on and share with you and let you inside the convo. Mom, do you have
Yeah.
anything you'd like to say?
Uh, just kind of reiterating what you said that we've had so many good discussions along the way, and I'm notorious for the sidebar. Just something out of the blue that's not even on the agenda, but it ends up being something worth talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm happy to share too. I think it's gonna be great.
Awesome sauce. Awesome sauce. So, for today's topic, we are going to be discussing balance and boundaries. One thing that I have learned from my mother, she's always preaching the importance of having balance in your life, the fact that you can do it all, but not at the same time. And I think in this time where we are, in the circumstances that we're living in, it's getting harder and harder to create boundaries for a lot of people and have that healthy sense of balance. We all are kind of dealing with the COVID-19 situation that has changed our way of life. We are socially distancing, physically trying to find the balance between not being out, staying healthy. A lot of us that normally work outside the home are being forced in. A lot of people's kids, well, not a lot of people, everybody's kids are out of school. So for us, it's a different atmosphere trying to achieve those boundaries and that balance. Mom,
Okay.
how are you doing with that right now?
Um. Well, for me, it's not. as difficult, I would say, probably for a lot of people because I work from home. I've been working from home for years.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have to necessarily get adjusted to that. Your dad, my husband, he's still working. So he's not here with me every day as some other families have had to adjust where everybody's at home. I don't have small children. So,
Mm-hmm.
in a sense, it's kind of a little normal for me. The only thing is I can't go out, you know. I've had to balance cooking every day. Uh, and finding something to cook every day because we can't go out and we're not a big order, you know, order pizza every night or what have you. So that's been a challenge. Um, so for me, yes, striking the balance of creating the boundaries isn't as difficult, I would say, for a lot of other people, a lot of other women. But I can see how that can be a big issue and a big something to get around or challenge.
Well, that's kind of a good point. For a lot of us, I'm not a man, I can't speak to being a man. There's this challenge of balancing and managing household life and doing the work life balance thing that was there before that I think is being amplified by the time. So I will pull some stats from the 2017 Modern Family Index just to give some context. They did a parenting survey that dealt with women and their mental load, particularly as it pertained to the household. And according to the survey they did, women are 2 times more likely to be managing the household and 3 times more likely to be managing their children's schedule. And for married women who are the primary earner for their family, the survey said that we're 3 times as likely to be the keeper of our children's schedule than breadwinning fathers. 3 times as likely to volunteer at school, twice as likely to be the one making sure all the family responsibilities are handled. Um, just so many things that we're carrying in terms of that mental load. And within that survey, in dealing with the stress of that, the stress to maintain a work life balance rose to 50% of the women of survey who were surveyed, and 69% of working moms said their household responsibilities created a mental load. Most disheartening is that a full 52% said they were burning out from the weight of trying to do it all. So, yes, we're seeing changes as a result of everybody being at home, the kids trying to balance work while you work at home, just managing kind of the chaos of it all. But based on those statistics, we've probably always been in that state in some way, shape, or form. So, Mom, you've been married way, 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 way longer than me. And you've been a mother for, 30 some odd years. What was your experience with that?
Well, let me say something too while you were saying,
Sure.
one way I have been affected, I'd say, during this period a little bit more, a little different, is I'm the budget. I'm the budget
Mm-hmm.
keeper, so to speak. I'm the one that kind of keeps the finances as far as where things go. And so, looking at this period of time, I'm looking ahead and trying to save here and save there and penny pinch here because we don't know where this is going to lead. I think
Yeah.
the economic fallout of this time is going to be just as great or greater than the health issues that we're having. And so that does ride on me. That does um, concern, but not consume.
Mm-hmm.
But trying to make some adjustments so that down the road we're not looking, at some heavier issues. So uh, that has affected me. Now back to your previous question, and let
Mm-hmm.
me see if I got this right. you're asking how did I balance or uh, create boundaries, or what? Restate your question again so I can answer it
Okay.
articulately.
So, in your experience, I just read some stats about the mental load that wives and mothers typically carry and the physical load and responsibility of the household. You
Mm-hmm.
having been a working mother and a stay at home mom at one point, what was your experience with that and how did you balance all of it?
Okay. Kind of like, okay, like I was saying, my kind of motto is you can have it all, but not all at the same time. And I
Mhm.
had to learn how to compartmentalize. Women, by nature, I think, are good at multitasking.
Mhm.
And that could be a strength and it can be a weakness because it's great that we can do it, but sometimes we'll tend to take on too much. And so I had to, especially when I was working outside of the home, I had to learn that it was okay if some things did not get done.
Mhm.
Um, and I empowered you, and I'll say, you and Cam, to be able to take care of yourselves, to do some things on your own, and to help me out. And thankfully, your dad was a good helper as well. Um, There was something else I was gonna say. You know me now. Facebook, I'll talk, and my thoughts will leave me while I'm talking. I'm gonna be real on this one now. So I had to start writing stuff down. It may be another cause of the pause, but ask me something else, and it'll come back to.
Okay, okay. So what I heard in there is just kind of understanding what was realistic. There is such thing as smart goals, setting goals that are specific, measurable, goals that are actually attainable, that are time bound, like being honest about what can and cannot be done and learning to be okay with that. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I have a hard time drawing that line between my lofty expectations for myself and what's reasonable. And even in knowing that it's reasonable, I still carry some guilt when I can't get everything done. But I also heard in that using what you have. Once we got old enough to do for ourselves, you definitely let us do for ourselves. And I guess in that empowerment, learning to let go and not having to micromanage everything. What I find in my coming of age is that so much of this seems to be expectation. Like I watched you work and make sure that we ate and that our homework was done and spend time with dad and all this kind of stuff. I watched grandmama do the same, run her business, raise the four of you all, so on and so forth. And rolling down, we know that you did it, but we don't know how you did it. So I guess the expectation to carry it all seems so lofty.
Okay, that's goes just with what I just wrote down.
Okay.
Don't compare yourself to anyone else in anyone's household, at anyone else's family, because no two people are the same, no two families are the same, and those dynamics are
Yeah.
completely different. Um, what your let's say you're married, and what your spouse may expect, you said expectations,
Mm-hmm.
or what you may, come in expected may be totally different than mine. And when you get into that comparison game, or like you just said, you made a good point. You're looking at the result, but you don't know how it got there.
Yeah.
So you're looking at another household, you're looking at another woman, and she looks like she's superwoman and she's doing it all, but you don't know the cost.
Yeah.
You don't know what she had to do or what she's doing or maybe lacking. She may be lacking peace. She may
Yeah.
be not, she's spending a lot of time, let's say, on her job or whatever, but the home may be lacking, or vice versa. She's not, or she's left herself out completely.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, we just run and run and run, and then we realize that where am I in this picture? And
Mm-hmm.
I've drained myself, and then I'm no good to anyone else. So my whole point in that is that balance is almost a personal thing. You got to start gauging yourself on who you are. Know
Yeah.
who you are, know what you can do, know what your family dynamic is, and you run like that. But do not compare. Don't get in that comparison game because it's dangerous and it will get you way off the rails.
I think it's Teddy Roosevelt that said comparison is the thief of joy. Fact check me on that if I'm wrong, but it's true. And I think for my generation, it's doubly the weight is there because of social media. People show you what they want you
They want you to
to
see.
see.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
easy to scroll down your timeline and see everybody
Mm-hmm.
with their hair
Mm-hmm.
combed and their makeup
Mm-hmm.
on and all that kind of stuff. But what you're not seeing is the pile of laundry
Mm-hmm.
in the background. So I feel
Exactly.
you on that,
Right.
Mo.
Right. And that's good. It's wonderful to show your celebrations and all of that.
Yeah.
Like you said, on social media and everything like that. But you got to realize that's not the real.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the old saying, you never know what goes on behind closed doors. So that's not the real. That's not 24/7.
Yeah.
So, be you, be authentic, be you and be real, and be okay with being you and being real.
I like that. I like that. And I think we have to encourage one another a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
in doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
tell each
Mm-hmm.
other every now and then it's okay. High
Okay.
five. You put on
Mm-hmm.
pants today. It's all right.
It's all right. It's all right. It is all right.
It is.
Just like now, Corona got most of us where we can't go to this beautiful salon. It's okay. Do what you got to do. I had to do what I had to do today. Y'all don't know what's under here. It look good on this camera, don't it? But anyway, I
Do
digress.
do what need to be did.
You need to be dead. You need to be dead. But don't be.
Yes, yes, yes. We got to encourage each other in that regard. One experience that a lot of people are reporting right now is, you have this thing with children, especially if they're small, they're going to demand a lot of you anyway. You know, you can't go to the bathroom by yourself, you can't shower by yourself, etc., etc. But a lot of moms, they find some reprieve in being at work. They still worry about those things. They miss their children, they love their children, but there is some sense of boundary between work and home. Whereas now, everybody is at home. You're trying to homeschool the kids while you're in a Zoom meeting in the background pretending to be dressed from the waist down, etc., so on and so forth. What do you say to that mom that's struggling to draw boundaries with children and even with spouse, you know, keeping each other from killing each other?
So you got to be very intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Even if that downtime or that personal time is no more than 10 or 15 minutes soaking in the tub or a very long shower, you have to be very intentional. You got to get everybody on board. Look, husband, children, whoever, this is mommy's time. Please do not disturb and take it. Now, granted, let's say if you're a single mom and you have little children and that, really have to, to depend on you, that's going to be a little different,
Mm-hmm.
especially now. Now, if it wasn't during this particular moment, I would say, babysitters or grandmothers or someone else to come and get the children.
Mm-hmm.
But now that may be the quiet time that you can get only when they're asleep, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That may be that nighttime, late at night when you're reading or whatever. But you got to carve it out. You got to do it. You can't say that, I don't have the time or I can't find it. You gonna find it. because if you don't, you're gonna burn out. It's just as simple as that. So it may not be that luxury, of a day, but 10 minutes, 15 minutes is a personal vacation. If you can get it and just be quiet and just sit there for a minute, that's would be my solution.
Yeah, if you don't make time for yourself, I'm learning life will make you make time for
That's right.
yourself.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Yes, it will.
Yeah.
It'll slow you down just because.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to make the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I don't have small children running around, but I want to do everything. I want to be everywhere and be everything to everybody. And I'm still learning as I approach soon to be my second year of marriage. Can't believe it. Um, Boundaries and carving out time for myself. Lately, I've been able to get into a routine where I'm actually getting up and having a few minutes to pray and to study and actually eat some breakfast before I start my day. And it just kind of changes the atmosphere of my entire day. I learned that from you, Mom.
I was gonna say, I think that that's key. Routine. I have a routine, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not by myself, but what I'm saying is I don't have, small children,
Yeah.
and so I have that routine. Your dad has gotten used to that routine, and it helps me.
Mm-hmm.
It helps me focus, and I think I would say that to any woman. You know, find that groove for you and do it, and you'll start to enjoy it, and you'll start to look forward to it. I get up, I do my devotion, I eat, and then I work. And then I'll stop and do this and that or whatever. But even when you all were, young, I did those same things because for me, structure is important. That's just for me. For me,
Mm-hmm.
um, saying that too, your personality will drive you, the type of person you are. Okay, you are more of I want to say perfectionist or or feel like you've never done enough or something like that. So that's going to drive you differently. And so you
Yeah.
have to realize that and know that again, I can't um, do it all at the same time. My personality, I'm a little bit more laid back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't let a whole lot of stuff bother me. And so that probably helped me in the long run to learn how to balance things because hey, if it doesn't get done, that's okay. It's going to go on to the next day. I just can't let things cloud my judgment or get me off track. Not to say that I don't, but in general,
Yeah.
that's the how I operate. So once you know who you are and you know your personality type, then those things that may be derailing you or getting you off track, then that's where you can make the adjustments. So in your case, if everything's got to be done and I've got to try to get it all done at the same time, or I got to, I feel guilty, like you said, if I
Mm-hmm.
haven't, then you got to train yourself to look at what if I, prioritize, and then if it doesn't get done today, it can get done tomorrow. The world doesn't move.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all. That's all very, very key. You'll lose your sanity otherwise, and I'm learning
Yes, you
that.
will. Yes, you Yes, you will.
Yes, yes, you will lose your sanity. I want to take a pause just for a second to welcome anybody who just joined because I see some people hopping on. I'm on with my mother dearest. No more wire hangers.
No more wire hangers.
My own personal mama dearest, Cassandra McCarty, and I am picking her brain on the subject of boundaries and balance. So, he kind of talked about womanhood and expectations and what it means to be a mother and have those boundaries. I'll touch a little bit on career. A lot of people, this is their first time working from home. I worked from home for 5 years prior to this. One thing I will recommend: boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. I saw so much burnout amongst my colleagues. I haven't really addressed it just yet, but a lot of burnout, a lot of people working 12, 13 hours a day. It was nothing for me to leave my desk at 5:30, 6 o'clock with no emails and wake up in the morning from a desk full from people who had been up all night working. And I had colleagues who had major health scares, things that could have possibly killed them due to stress. First and foremost, it's not worth it. It's not worth your sanity. It's not worth your health. It's just not. Second of all, to mom's point, you gotta to really decide what you can do, what's reasonable. Mom always told me to do my best and let God do the rest, and that is what I think preserved me for the time I did what it was I did. So I encourage you, don't let this overwhelm you. You are a human being first. You have a family first, and people that love you and people that care about you succeeding and being whole. Don't worry about running yourself down. Shut the door if you can, if at all possible. Dedicate your own space to the work that you have to do. Even if you got a spare closet, if you got a closet you can empty, put your desk in there and put you a lamp so that at the end of the day you can close the door and have that physical representation that I am done working, and that physical representation to yourself and even to your family that work has had its time. It's time for me to do something else. So, boundaries, and having balance, and really being clear about your goals. If you're pushing a career, that's great. If you're trying to get to the next level on your job, that's great. But if your goal is, that my family be whole or to get my children to the next place, you got to prioritize. If your goal is to do something personal for yourself, like I did, you got to draw those lines and not let career infringe upon that to the best of your ability. Yep, yep. So, one thing that you mentioned too was about personality types driving how you set boundaries. Most people that know me really well know that I am a textbook introvert. I love people. I'm a people person. I tend to be friendly and outgoing, but I recharge my batteries best by being by myself. It's like I will talk to people and give them everything I have and empty myself, but then I got to go back and refill. And it has been a challenge, not just drawing those boundaries, but navigating relationships in that same regard, navigating friendships, understanding people, being understood, giving but knowing when to refill myself, whether it be life, whether it be in relationships. Even in my marriage, I'm growing and trying to navigate my need to have that time and that boundary, and also being what I need to be to the people I love and that love me. What's your take on that, Mom?
Well, it was several things you were saying. I'm gonna go back to the work from home.
Mm-hmm.
Working at home. I've done this for, oh, I don't know, maybe 15 years now. But it's
Ooh,
different because it may be that long, 10, maybe. It's hard to tell.
it's
Time
been a
passes.
while.
It's at least 10. It's been a while. It's at least 10. But the difference for me is that I'm kind of like an independent contractor, so I kind of work for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I would speak to the fact that if you work from home and work for yourself, discipline comes in
Yeah.
because it's easy, you're not necessarily punching the clock, or you don't necessarily have phone calls that you just have to make at a certain time or whatever. So that comes into play, and setting boundaries with others, with your family members and things, to understand that yes, my time may be flexible, but I'm still working.
Absolutely.
And so that's very critical. I have found I'm getting better with that. But that's important. And then setting regular business hours. You know,
Mm-hmm.
same way that you got up to go to a job outside, you need to do the same thing inside for yourself. And that goes back to that schedule and that structure,
Yeah.
because it's going to help you be more productive. And then it also will kind of, I don't want to say train,
Mm-hmm.
but get other people on board with your time,
Yeah.
and when you are available and when you're not. And so that was one takeaway I had on that. Now, what was the other part?
I was talking about relationships and friendships. I was talking about the fact that I'm a textbook introvert and I need to recharge my batteries a lot of times by being by myself and learning to navigate giving other people what they need while getting what I need at the same time.
Okay, okay. I guess I don't mind being alone either. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily an introvert, but I do like my me time.
Yeah.
Um, I'm different from, I know she's looking, I'm different from my mother. My mother is a textbook extrovert. If she doesn't have people around her, she is, wow. So, I guess is there a definition for introvert slash extrovert? A little of
Ambiverts.
both.
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, they call them ambiverts, introverts and extroverts. That theory is actually Jungian. It is from Carl Jung, and no person really is on far left. Very few
Okay,
people are just
okay,
one particular type. You can be a blend of both, leaning one way or the other.
okay. And when you said that, you have to recharge, I found myself like that at some point too. I like people. Um, I don't mind being around people, but when I've had enough, I've had enough, so to
Pretty
speak. And I
much.
don't mean that in a rude way, but but
I'm a head out.
yes, yes. So being, me working by myself, being at home, that doesn't bother me. For some people, this time, that's another point. For some people, this working from home is not good for them, or not good to them, because they need that stimulation from other people.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've had to find other ways to cope. So I feel for those people, but that's not me. And so I never had a problem being able to, work for myself or being alone.
Okay. Well, in your sage wisdom, in your time dealing with friendships and such, and Dad has some tendencies on both sides of this coin.
Yes, yes, he does. He does. If anybody knows him, first of all, he doesn't meet strangers, and he
Mm-hmm.
can talk. No. But at the same time, he can be happy in his own company.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's a little different with that too. And if we segue into, I don't know, friendships or what have you,
Talk
I've
about
never
it.
been a person
Mm-hmm.
that had a lot of friends. I value quality over quantity. I
Yeah.
only have really, I could say one best friend. We've been friends for over 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
But then I have, um, I guess a cousin that I consider a sister, and then another friend. And so I kind of, look to or believe that you have friends that come into your life for seasons, and then there are people that come into your life for reasons, and then there are lifetime friends. And you
Absolutely.
need to know the difference, because if you try to make that seasonal friend a lifetime friend, then you're entering into something that they didn't serve the purpose for. You won't know
Absolutely.
when or where that to draw that line. But if
Mm-hmm.
you know that they came in there for a reason and they served the purpose, or you were to benefit them, then no one is offended when it ends, or when you part your
Yeah.
ways, or however it ends. Um, I have had all three of those:
Mm-hmm.
seasoned friends, friends for reasons, and then that the one lifetime friend, like I said, that I've had over 40 years. And we don't have to talk every day. I'm that type of person.
Absolutely.
Uh, we can talk literally. And this may sound bad, but we can talk on the phone maybe twice a year, 2 to 3 times a year. Now,
Mm-hmm.
when we do, it's minimum an hour. We're gonna talk. But we pick up like we never missed a beat.
Yeah.
We survived distance. Just all types of things, and we're still, best friends. Um, I've never been one, like I said, to have a lot of girlfriends, and that we just go on all of these getaways and different things. It's nothing wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, but that's not me. And
Yeah.
I didn't try to. I'm not trying to. Let's say, create that
Yeah.
when that's not my personality, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not knocking anyone that does. And so, as far as friendship goes, like I said, those things you have to determine if they're seasonal, or reason, or lifetime. Then set the boundaries according to the types of friends that you have. And I think, as women particularly, we need all three, because we are multifaceted people. And so, you know um, learn that early. You won't be hurting, other people won't be hurting.
I think I got a lot of this honest from you because I have a best friend. We've been best friends since we were 15 years old, and we may not talk, but a couple of times a year, but it's not uncommon if we have the time to be on the phone with each other for 3 or 4 hours, like nothing
Exactly.
ever happened. It's very much,
Exactly.
like Yang and Gray, she's my person, I'm her. She knows me, I know her, and we get each other. And shout out to Kristen Bennett if you're watching. I love you. You're my person. But she gets me and I get her, and we understand each other. And I think she is my evergreen friend. Her leaf will never turn brown in my life. But we are steadily evolving. I'm, still in my young adult life, in my early 30s. Mom, can I tell it?
Tell it what? My age.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Okay. I figured you ain't care, but mom, I didn't want to just tell your business. Mom
Y'all
is
don't see them good grades. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I digress.
that's some sidebars. Um,
I bought.
Mom is in her mid 50s. She has been married for at this point 30, almost 36 years. A lot has happened. We have children. They grow up, they grow old. We have spouses, and then later in life, prayerfully, later, they go on and transition. So much happens, and you need the experience of different people at different points in their
Yeah.
lives.
Mhm.
You need people in your life that can relate to you. Like my bestie, she has two little boys, and they will be much older than the children I birth when that happens. I've got my bonus daughter, but we have experienced certain things at different junctures of our lives. She got married first, and then I did. I'm thankful she has people in her life that she can relate to on certain things that I can't. It's a blessing to me that she has other friends besides me. And I think vice versa. Something we get hung up on a lot of times. I see jealousy amongst friends. Well, why are you doing things with her? Talking to her about this, that, and the other.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's okay. It's
It's
all
okay.
right.
It's okay. It's okay. I totally agree. It's so similar. Um, my best friend and I got married, almost 10 years before she
Yeah.
did. So we, still we had a different dynamic going on, but we're still, good friends,
Yeah.
still best friends, and things like that. But like you said, she has other friends, I have other friends, and there's no competition.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, I know what the reasons are, and I know some are seasonal. I have a prayer partner that I got later in life here, but she is not my best friend. She is not the bestie,
Right.
but
Right.
she serves. You know what I'm saying? They are not the same people,
Mm-hmm.
and so you would say, "Oh, why isn't your best friend your best friend?" There are many reasons that and they're
Yeah.
not out. They're not bad. They're just I know who I needed, and I know who God sent in my life
Absolutely.
for that reason. And so, you're right. Friends don't need to compete. They don't have to compete
Mm-hmm.
because they serve different purposes and you evolve. And just like you,
Absolutely.
you age, you evolve. And one friendship I want to, talk about is you and I,
Yeah.
the mother-daughter friendship. You know, technically you are my best friend too. Oh, snuggle, snuggle,
Snuggle, snuggle.
snuggle, snuggle. Um, and it has evolved because, of course, like you said, when you were younger, I was your friend, but I wasn't your little friend, and
That's
you
right.
knew that. You know, we don't play that. Okay, I had to be, I had to be a parent. I had to be mom. But as you got older, and now you're married and have a child, and all the things, some of the things now we can share, we can actually talk about and have in common. And then we develop, friendship early. Just by I hope I fostered open communication,
Mm-hmm.
and that we could now continue to be best friends or even better friends, than we were earlier. So that's a whole nother dynamic right there, the mother daughter situation.
Absolutely. I
Oh, and my
feel
mom is a good too. Oh, but go ahead.
no, no, no. Absolutely. I totally agree. I feel fortunate that you are my friend, that grandmama's my friend. That's my buddy right there. Um, Not everybody has that, but I think you did cultivate a lot of that at a young age. You spent time with me. You talked to me, but you also took a genuine interest in who I was and who I was becoming as a person. And yeah, you weren't one of my little friends, but you were my friend, and it was very clear. And for me being a child that did not have a whole lot of close friends or associates, it was so important having you there as my mother to even just cultivate knowing that I had value and that I was wanted. That meant a whole lot to me, so that when I didn't get that kind of validation from my peers, I was at least getting that at home from you, that I am valuable, that I am interesting, and that I have something to offer, that someone can enjoy being around me. So definitely, I appreciate you being my friend and how that has grown over the years. On the flip side of that, in terms of balance and boundaries, though, you still have to drive a balance, especially as an adult mother daughter. It's some stuff mama don't talk to me about, and it's some stuff that I won't take to her. It's a level or measure of respect
Yeah.
on one end. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and just
Yeah.
also protecting and guarding each other to a degree. Mom, you look like you got some nuggets on that.
No, I'm just in total agreement. I was, had written down the same thing. That's where the boundaries come in the mother daughter relationship. But also, you touched on the value. You said that you felt valued, and by me, taking time. Now I think it's even the flip. I value your input and your perspective on things. And there's not a moment that I won't pick up the phone and say, what do you think about this or whatever you, because
Mm-hmm.
you know you have a life experience now,
Yeah.
and it's different from mine. There's no, just because we're mother daughter don't mean that we have the same paths or anything. So I respect that and I value that. But you're right, the boundaries, you still have to know, you know, like you said, you can't just open the floodgates. And you want to keep the communication open. You want to know that you can talk to one another about anything. But, is that expedient? Is it beneficial, what you're going to say and what
Yeah.
you're going to share? So I think that all comes with time. It also all comes with cultivating that relationship early and knowing each other. And the only way you're gonna know each other is you got to spend some time with each other, and you got to make that thing happen.
Yeah. I think you hit up on something special too about asking your daughter for advice sometimes.
Yeah.
Ask her how to cook something or what you think you should do with your hair. Like, ask her opinion. I promise it'll make her feel valued and also respected. You kind of graduate from being that teenage mother and
Mm-hmm.
daughter to being the
Mm-hmm.
adult mother and daughter, and she needs to understand that she has your respect as an
Mm-hmm.
adult. You're always gonna be her mother. I would
Exactly.
never talk out of
Yeah.
school on my mama. She's still not one of my little friends. She just not.
Still not. Still not, and never will be.
No,
But
but
there's
that's
a difference.
totally okay.
Yes.
It's a
But
different
it's a
dynamic.
difference. It's a
Mm-hmm.
different dynamic, exactly. But as I said, your relationship evolves and it grows, and for us, it's only gotten better and we've gotten closer. And I said, even with my own mom, she would call and ask, for advice in a heartbeat. And
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, that's great. She thinks well enough for me to know that, first of all, I'm gonna tell her like it is, and then, that
absolutely.
she values my opinion. So I like that. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yep.
Hi, mother. I know it's just watching.
Yes. Hi, grandmother. Mm. Definitely. I'm looking at the comments. We as daughters want to feel respected. That's absolutely true. I think you'll never you will never have that friendship and that true closeness if you don't get to the point where you see people for where they are in their life and let them know you have my respect, you have my value. I'm not going to treat you like you five.
Right. And I think as mothers, because you can't turn the mothering off.
Yeah.
but it's hard, you like you said, to gain that respect or that trust if I'm still treating you like a child.
Yeah.
And so we have to, slowly take those reins and take those strings off and don't give unsolicited advice. There's a difference between wisdom and just telling you, what you think, what I think you ought to do. And so, yeah. Yeah. That's all I was Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah. And if you are close enough, she'll ask you. You know, if you develop enough of a relationship, she's going to try you and she's going to know when, I got to phone a friend, I got to call her audible, mama, what do you think? We do it all the time. So,
All the time. All the time. You're right. You're right. So it's all based on relationship. It's all based on relationship.
I see it. It popped in my head the visual of a scale. If you've got, two ends of a scale, you put something on one side and you put something on the other, right? And they may be unbalanced. You have to keep moving things from side to side to get that weight to eventually measure and balance. So I think that's true of relationships, friendships, career, everything that we just talked about. You're going to have to try some things, move some things around, and make some adjustments until you get that balance that you are looking for. It's not necessarily an
Exactly.
immediate thing.
It's a process. That's exactly
Yes.
right. It's a process. You will have to try some things. You will have to go through some things, and until you find that balance. But if you want to, you can. You can. And then sometimes it's not 50-50.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's 60 and it's 40, and that's still okay.
That's real
If
good.
you can, yeah, if you can still maneuver through life with the scales a little unbalanced, that's okay. Don't look for this 50-50, this perfect balance, because first of all, there is nothing perfect with Jesus, okay? And no perfect situation. And so, excuse me. So yeah, if it's 60-40 or it's 40-50 or whatever, and you can still maneuver and you can still function and you can still keep moving, then let that be and be okay.
Because I promise if it wasn't for Jesus doing 80% of the work,
Exactly,
where would I
exactly. It's
be?
no balance. It's no balance there. So why are we looking? I mean, not why are we looking?
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't get me started. But anyway,
Well, I think that's a good segue. Do you have any final thoughts before we get into our anchor scripture?
no, no.
Okay, well, Mom, I'll let you take it away.
Okay. Well, the scripture I came up with for this session was Proverbs 2:10 and 11. And it reads, "For wisdom will enter your heart, and knowledge will be pleasant to your soul. Discretion will protect you, and understanding will guard you." And as I was, praying and thinking about the only way to achieve this balance and to create the right boundaries is to ask God for the wisdom and the understanding and use discretion in everything that you do.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do those things, then I think you will have achieved a balanced life. So that is why I picked that scripture.
Awesome sauce. Awesome sauce.
Awesome song.
So, do you have any last tips or takeaways from your end that you want people to really walk away with today?
Back to my mantra: you can have it all, just not at the same time.
Got you.
Don't try to put everything on your plate all at once. You know, take baby steps, compartmentalize your life, and you'll be less stressed and you're more productive and you're more than likely to get the things done that you need to get done and achieve that balance.
I totally agree with you. You said you can have it all, just not all at once. Exercise, wisdom. I would say don't be afraid to draw boundaries if they will help you achieve um, that it'll help you achieve some balance in your life. One thing I do want to point out just for the time that we're in, boundaries aren't just for people, it's also for influences. Right now, the media, so much of us are tuned way in. Um, we're tuned way in to what's happening in the world. We're acutely aware. A lot of us are on Facebook all the time. We're streaming CNN. We're reading the paper. We're watching the news at night. If you find all of that you're ingesting beginning to produce negative fruit in your life, you need to draw a boundary. My motivator for this week, the midweek motivator, was what you feed will grow, what you starve will die. Okay? Um, if you feed yourself a whole lot of negativity all the time, then that's the seed that's going to grow in your life. If you want positivity to grow, you've got to plant some of those seeds in your life. Look for the good. Turn off some of the coverage. Know what's going on, balance, but don't be so engrossed in it that it sends you on a downward spiral, because the next thing, not only will it manifest in you, it's going to manifest in what you do and around you. You're stuck at home, you're going to be going off on your family and friends, sulking, putting the covers over your head. What you feed will grow, what you starve will die. So strike that balance and don't be afraid to draw those boundaries between yourself and your environment as well.
It's true.
Yeah.
I want to say one last thing. I
Yeah.
hope everyone enjoyed this because I did. And, let us know in the comments if you want to hear us or see us again, or if there's a topic that you'd like for us to discuss.
Okay. Okay, so I see in the comments, Mom, that yeah, this is a daughter and mom session, but I hope for the future will be moms and sons help. So Cameron, I do have a brother. Cameron, if you're
Yes.
listening, I'm gonna
Yes.
volunteer you and mom to do a
Volunteer.
session.
Okay. I sure will do it.
That would be awesome. I love my brother. He's fantastic. So yes, this was our pilot episode of the sidebar sessions. I will mention too that me and mom have an unnamed book project coming in the near future where we'll be talking about topics like this. Again, me and mom, she is my ace boon. She's my best friend. And we've been fortunate to have that relationship. We've been fortunate to grow in relationship with each other. And sometimes people ask us, how do we get close? So we are walking through some topics and trying to prepare a resource to help the world experience what we have. So more to come. We hope you enjoyed this sidebar session. Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are. If you've got topics you want us to talk about, drop them below. I'm really excited about continuing to do this series. Final thoughts from you, Mom?
Just enjoyed it. And I hope we were a blessing. Tune in again soon.
All right. Well, live, laugh, love, and we will see you all on the next go round. Take care.
Bye bye.